Hi there, it's Jenny from Quick Anime Recap. And today we're continuing the part 2 of the anime. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Sit tight and enjoy the video. The anime continues. During the night at a bar, Hestia vent out her frustration about Belle meeting others girl to Mayek. And indifferent, Mayek tries to reason with Hestia, claiming Belle belongs to no one, but she doesn't care. The next day, Hestia has a hangover and Belle tends to her need much to her annoyance. To repay Hestia's kindness, Belle offers to take Hestia out for a meal. She takes this offer as a date, and decides to do it today. Afterward, Hestia bathes in the temple baths and needs to meet her there. Embarrassed by all of the attention, Hestia leaves, but not before revealing who the lucky man she's going out with. Upon meeting with Belle, all of the goddesses that were at the temple baths swarm Belle. Upset by the attention Belle was getting, Hestia drags him away. In hot pursuit of the two, the goddesses chase the two all across town. They manage to escape from them, however, it's already night time, so they decide to continue their date next time. Meanwhile, Lily has her money stolen from her by a fellow member of the Soma Familia named Canoe. The very next day, Belle fights off a swarm of monsters in the dungeon, and is saved by Lily and her magic knife. After the battle, Belle thanks Lily for using such a precious item to save his life. The two soon enjoy lunch together, and Lily requests that she get the following day off. Her reason is so she can attend a Soma Familia meeting, and Belle allows it. Belle then returns the lunchbox to Cyr, and asks what she does on her days off. Cyr answers that she enjoys reading, whereas Cyr borrows him a magic book that a customer left at the bar to read. Back at his home, Belle engrosses himself in reading the book's contents, and answering the questions that arise from it. That night, Hestia awakens Belle from his slumber, and she performs a status update on Belle, and to their surprise, Belle is now able to cast firebolt magic. Educating Belle more on magic, Hestia reveals that his magic is of the Chantless type, and suggests that he try it out in the dungeon the next day. However, Belle's urge to try out his firebolt magic immediately has him venture off during the night to the dungeon, but he overdone it as he venture even deeper. Now deep inside the dungeon, Belle tries to head back, but faints due to fatigue. Soon, Reveria and Ace arrive and find the unconscious Belle. Regaining consciousness on Ace's lap, Belle rolls away in a frantic manner, leaving Ace feeling perplexed. That morning at his home, Belle laments on running away from Ace again, and Hestia awakens from her slumber. She then realizes that the magic book that Belle read was really a grimoire. Wanting to repay the costs for the book, Hestia reveals the exorbitant price of it and reassures Belle that she'll handle the rest. Hestia's reassurance has Belle distraught as he doesn't want her to do such a thing for him. Later, Belle apologizes to Mia about his mistake, but she doesn't hold it against him. Elsewhere, Aine does some shopping in a general store, and she runs into the goddess Loki and a member of her familia, Reveria. Because of this meeting, Aine makes Reveria purchase some expensive Soma wine for Loki, so she can answer her question on the Soma Familia. Loki reveals that the Familia doesn't worship Soma, but the wine instead. Somewhere else in town, Lily is stalked by Canoe, and when Belle finds this out he is confronted by Ged, Lily's former partner. Ged offers they team up against Lily for her money, but Belle rejects the offer. Lily then approaches Belle and asks him what he talked about with Ged. Belle brushes it off as nothing and they both head off for the dungeon, as Lily suspects their time together is soon going to be over. Lily's backstory is told, and it explains that due to her constant abuse from her adventuring party, she grew to despise all adventurers. At the Twilight Manor, Loki enjoys more of her Soma wine, and discloses more information on the Soma Familia to Aine. Apparently, the Soma wine sold on the market is a fake product, and that the true wine allows a person to experience a true drunken state. Furthermore, the Familia only exists for that wine. Because of this, extortion and sacrifices are made all around the members of the guild. That night, Hestia and Belle talk about how Lily is the target of some bad adventurers. Although she believes that Lily has ulterior motives and that she can't be trusted, Belle still decides to trust her. Outside the dungeon the next day, Belle meets with Lily, who suggests they start at level 10 this time. Hesitant to do this, Belle is convinced after Lily coaxes him to do so. Unbeknownst to the two, Aine is performing a dungeon inspection and runs into Ace. During their conversation, they overhear another conversation involves how Lily will scam another sucker soon. Deducing that the person they were referring to is Belle, Aine asks Ace for a favor. Down on the 10th level, the two are confronted by an orc, and Bell manages to defeat it with his firebolt spell. Glad to have beaten the orcs, Bell notices that Lily is nowhere in sight. Just then a group of orcs starts to appear, and as Bell tries to defend himself against them, Lily steals his knife from him and abandons him. Out of Bell's sight, she heads to the dungeon's exit while claiming she'll sell Bell's knife for a good price and be emancipated from the Soma Familia. On the way, she's tripped by Ged, who proceeds to beat her and steal her loots. Soon, Canu and his crew arrive at the scene and betray Ged by using killer ant corpses to attract more of them so they can swarm the two. Panic-stricken, Ged tries to flee, but is killed on the way by some killer ants. After taking Lily's loots, Canu uses her as a decoy for him and his comrades to escape. Although Lily accepts her fate, she still laments over her perpetual bad luck. Right before her demise, Bell casts Firebolt that incinerates the killer ants, and Continue fights off the remaining killer ants to rescue Lily. With the last ant slain, Bell reveals to Lily that when she disappeared, an unknown person slew the remaining orcs. And from there, Bell then headed straight for Lily and rescued her, much to her dismay, as she betrayed him. Bell, however, forgives her because he wished to help her. The next day, Bell meets up with Lily again and reforms their partnership with each other. As Bell and Lily go for a walk, Lily asks if Bell is alright with her being her companion, after she betrayed his trust and kindness. Bell reassures Lily that he doesn't hold a grudge against her, and the two continue on to Bell's home. There, Lily is formally introduced to Hestia, and they talk about her commitment to the Familia. Lily vows to never betray Bell again, and Hestia takes her word for it. Just before Bell arrived in the scene with some tea, Hestia imposes that by no circumstance should Lily try and be intimate with Bell. Although flustered by this, Lily, in turn, embraces Bell's left arm and promises to uphold her vow. Astounded by this entire situation, Bell escapes from them claiming to have some business with Ina at the guild. As he arrived at the guild, he sees that Ina was talking with Ace. Soon, Bell and Ace discuss the matters involving when he was ambushed by a group of orcs in the 10th level dungeon, which Ace returns Bell's arm protector that he dropped, making Bell realize that she was the one who saved him back then. Now outside the guild, Ace mentions how Bell has made it to the 10th level of the dungeon is impressive, but Bell significantly downplays it. Hearing that Bell needs a teacher to help improve his combative skills, Ace volunteers to fulfill that role. Around the dawn of the following day, Bell and Ace do combative training on the top of the city wall. Using her sheath as her weapon, Ace spars with Bell, but she quickly realizes he needs more training. Meanwhile in the dungeon, a man named Otter fights off a bunch of Minotaur at Freya's behest. He's soon confronted by a Minotaur with a blood-soaked weapon. Impressed by it, Otter gives it his own weapon. At the same time, in the 10th level of the dungeon, Bell and Lily plan on exploring the dungeon as far as they so can. As they progress, they're confronted by a large group of imps. With Lily offering support with her little ballista, Bell slays the imps. However, some orcs appear right then. Believing that they should retreat, Bell dismisses Lily's suggestion, as he's determined to reach Ace level. The dawn of the next day, Bell continues sparring with Ace, until he's knocked unconscious by her multiple times. When they stop for a moment, Ace inquires how Bell is becoming so strong so quickly. Bell retorts that he wants to become strong for a certain someone. To Bell's surprise, Ace relates to that notion. After sparring, Bell and Ace walk the streets of the city, and stop at a food stall where Hestia is working at. She then reprimands Bell for his promiscuous streak, but is later informed on the situation. Hestia allows this to continue, but enforces that Ace doesn't commit to any intimacy between the two. Back in the dungeon, the Minotaur that Otter trained is shown to have escaped to the lower levels, and it confronts Canu. At the guild, news of Ace single-handedly defeating a 37th dungeon level boss reaches the guild. Although this revelation leaves Bell feeling despondent, he's still determined to reach Ace level more than ever. While walking down the streets of the city, Bell is approached by Seer, who has him wash dishes for her. Due to the number of dishes needed to be cleaned, Ryu decides to help out Bell. As they both clean the dishes, Bell asks Ryu, as she was a former adventurer, for advice on how to rank up. She advises that he'll need to form a party to compensate for his deficiencies. Reinforcing the fact that a party is a necessity, Ryu claims that it's also an obvious essential that one goes on adventures to level up. The next day, Bell and Ace continue their sparring together, and Bell manages to get in a counterattack on her. That being the last day of their training together, Bell thanks Ace for her help. In front of the dungeon, the captain of the Loki Familia, Findame, gives a speech to the members of his familia on the adventure they're heading off on. Their plan is to reach level 18, and regroup there until they're ready to venture off to the 50th level. Elsewhere, Otter gives his report to Freya, who ponders if Belle will grow exponentially from this. On the 9th level of the dungeon, Belle notes the ominous feeling coming from that level, and Lily feels it too. After briefly pressing on, they're confronted by the Minotaur trained by Otter. Dodging its attack, thanks to Lily pushing him out of the way, Belle casts multiple firebolt on it. This proves futile, as the Minotaur slams Belle into a wall, leaving him hurt and exhausted. Down in the lower levels, the group is informed about the Minotaur roaming the 9th level. Upon hearing that another adventurer may be a victim of the Minotaur, part of the Loki familia set off to help. Back to Belle, a wounded Lily finally awakens, and Belle orders her to run. Even though she continuously refuses, Belle snaps at her. Alone now, Belle faces off against the beast, now dual-wielding 2 weapons, but the Minotaur manages to break Belle's chest plate with its horn. Just then, Ace arrives at the scene. While Belle laments over being saved by Ace again, the rest of the Loki familia group arrives. Not wanting to be rescued by Ace again, Belle confronts the Minotaur again. As Belle faces off against the Minotaur, Bet recognizes Belle as the tomato guy that Ace once saved. Lily then chimes in, beseeching the group to help Belle, causing her to faint from fatigue. Because of Lily's plea, Bet decides to help Belle. However, he's astonished to see that Belle is capable of holding his own against the beast. While the fight between Belle and the Minotaur continues, Freya watches as it unfolds, feeling rhapsodic from the experience. The Loki familia group note that although Belle's knife and his technique are impressive, Belle has yet to penetrate the defenses of the Minotaur. Defending against his attack, Belle manages to disarm it, which he uses its own sword to slash the Minotaur several times, and finish it off using multiple firebolt spells. Once the fight was over, Reveria checks Belle's stats, and she reveals that all of his abilities are S-ranked now. Thanks for watching the video. Still want to watch more anime recap? Click the videos on the screen to watch more. And don't forget to subscribe to catch the latest upload. Bye!